Ladies and gentlemen, I wrote a song the other day. We were testing out my website, and no, some people have been asking because they are not regulars. The EeoN.TV website is not available to the public yet. We're still working on it. Okay, I'm still testing it out, so be patient, please. Uh, we've added a couple of things, and so we have to make sure that those new systems mesh and work. I don't want nobody talking about me. They got enough people talking about me, so you ain't gonna talk about me for that. And what I did was the other day, because I've done it at least once before, and I said I was going to do it on a regular basis. The Bible. I am taking the actual words, scripture by scripture, without the numbers, and I am creating songs out of it. For instance, this is the second chapter of Genesis where it talks about Adam and receiving the wife as a gift and the rib being taken from her, and the third chapter talking about them eating from the tree. So pay attention.
Jehovah God took the man and settled him in the Garden of Eden. From every tree of the garden you may eat
The satisfaction.
satisfaction.
But as for the tree
But as for the tree of the knowledge
of good and
of
bad,
good and bad,
you must not eat from it.
you must not eat from it. You will
You'll surely
certainly die.
Ladies and gentlemen, this has been added. This part right here. In the beginning. Come on, sing it with me. There was a beginning. A peaceful beginning.
A peaceful beginning.
A horrible ending.
A horrible ending.
You hear me?
It is not good for the man to continue to be alone. I'm going to make a helper for him. As a compliment of him, Jehovah, God caused the man to fall into a deep sleep. He took one of his ribs and built the rib into a woman.
Why? Because in the beginning, there was a beginning, a peaceful beginning, a horrible beginning. That's all I added. Everything else, or male and female voice, but that's all I added. And I like the way this was done. So I'll be doing this from time to time, and you had better believe I am very proud of this. This is that last bone of my bone and flesh of my flesh. This one will be called woman.
This one will be called
Because
woman.
from man she was
Because
taken.
from man she was taken.
A man will leave his father and his mother, and he will stick to his
He
wife,
will stick to his wife,
and they will become one flesh.
and they will become one flesh.
In the beginning, there was a beginning. See, I've only
A peaceful
completed two.
beginning.
This is the one that I'm settling on. Let's give that positive thumbs up. Yay!
The serpent was the most cautious.
The serpent was the most cautious of all the wild animals, ladies and gentlemen.
Did God really say
Did God really say that you must not eat from every tree? We may eat from every tree of the garden,
of the fruit of the trees of the garden.
but as for the one in the middle,
But God has said about the fruit of the tree
that's in the
in the
middle.
middle.
No, go ahead and let them know. In the beginning, there was a beginning, a peaceful beginning,
A peaceful beginning.
a horrible ending.
A horrible
It's I'm only gonna play to hear this one.
You certainly will not die.
He told her, you
Your
certainly
eyes
will
will
not
be
die.
open,
Your eyes will be open, and you will be like God, knowing good and bad.
Knowing good and bad.
In the beginning
there
was a beginning, oh, a peaceful beginning, a horrible ending.
Later, they heard the voice of Jehovah God. as he was
Walking
walking
in
in
the
the
garden
garden
about
about the
the breezy
breezy
part of the
part of
day.
the day.
Evening, y'all.
The
Early
man and
evening.
his wife
Man and
hid
his
from
wife,
the
they hid
face of
from the face
Jehovah
of
God
Jehovah God among the
among the
trees of the
trees
garden.
of the garden. In
The
the beginning.
beginning. No, we're going to stop it right there because that's a different song. But that's in the beginning, ladies and gentlemen, and that's my new song. In the beginning. All I can tell you is, as I said before, I've been waiting for something like this to be developed. This should have been developed a long time ago because, sorry, I can listen to this without having any problems. Oh no, I ain't listening to that. That's that this gospel. It ain't nobody's gospel anything. This is the words of scripture put to song. Exactly the words. The only thing I did was created a hook, a chorus. In the beginning, which is the very first words of Genesis. And for those naysayers, oh no, there was a beginning. And then they were in the garden, peaceful, a peaceful beginning, but then they sinned, which is how this ends. A horrible ending. That's all I added. Everything else is, and then again the male female. And I like the fact that Eve is the female voice is the one who said it is not good for man to continue by himself alone. I'm going to make a helper for him, a complement of him. Okay, and then you notice how it stops with her voice and goes into no, 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 it's still her voice. It's down here that it goes when he asks her, "Is it not so that you can eat from every tree?" Okay, we may eat from every tree except for the one in the middle. Then it goes to the female voice. But this voice, the serpent, is a male voice. I like that. It did that on its own. I didn't tell it to. It recognized the gender of the individuals. See, that's interesting that AI even recognized that there is no gender in heaven. There is no gender among angels. There is no gender among heavenly creatures, according to Scripture. Doesn't matter whether you believe in it or not. I'm talking about facts. I don't care about beliefs. Beliefs don't mean nothing to me, but I do care about facts. A lot of people think that they're baby angels. There's no such thing as a Cupid in heaven, people. There's no such thing. God took your child because he wanted another angel. Lord have mercy. There are no baby angels. You won't see a single scripture talking about a baby angel. That is a pagan belief. Okay, all of that Cupid stuff, people, you know it's fantasy. Cupid with a bow and arrow? Come on now. You know that that's fantasy. You know that that's junk. So again, I don't deal with that stuff. I deal with only the facts, what it actually says. That's why, again, from time to time I will do this. Because the next time we're going to talk about is the punishment and then Cain and Abel. And then we're going to go from there. I don't know if I'm going to do Lamech. Those of you who know who Lamech is, or Cain being ousted and sent to the land of Noth. I don't know if I'm going to do all of that because I'm not going to do it every book. That that's 66 books. That would be tedious for me. And again, I really do appreciate scripture, but that would be too tedious for me. So I'm going to do the main points, the ones that I like, because that's the music I'm doing. I'm not doing music that I think other people would like, ladies and gentlemen. I promise you, I'm not doing music that I think you would like. Now, I did the other song the other day. Give me 1 second. Yeah, this one right here. I'm
I'm on
on
my
my
way
way.
to see you
hmm
home.
You don't
You
ever
don't ever have to
have to
be
be
alone.
alone.
I've shed
It's
my
the
tears,
tears.
a river cry,
I've cried rivers, y'all.
love
Love
born over
gone over and cast
and
aside.
cast aside.
I'm on my
I'm on
way.
my way. I spent
Ladies and gentlemen, as I ask people, and eventually I'll do a video and ask you guys to comment on it, and I'll leave the comments open to find out specifically what your elder generational parents and grandparents thought of this particular song. It was, in one way, I chose it because it was made with that generation in mind. Look, hey, Y'all know it. Whenever your mother was in trouble and she called your father, I'm on my way. Tell me that that's not what they would say. No, no, no. I'm on my way. You ain't got to say nothing else. No, just wait right there. I'm on my way. You call your father and tell him, hey, hey, I don't have a ride home, and they dropped me off here. I'm on my way. Okay. So I want to know if they can relate to the song. That's what it's 6 minutes long, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. It was designed that way. I'm on my way. So this is what I do. And I do it based upon me, based on how I feel. I'm not trying to do how other people feel. But when I wrote it, it reminded me of that situation. I wrote a story and it was called One Man's View of Sacrifice. You can, I think it's on the internet. I think it's possible to find it. Wake up. Oh, One Man's View of Sacrifice. Stop listening. Stop listening. Let's see if I could find it. I don't think I'll be able to find it. It was written so long ago, and I am so much behind it. But it's called One Man's View of Sacrifice. It's a story I wrote. It's out there. It's just I won't be able to find it. But One Man's View of Sacrifice, the father, Mr. Brian, um, his daughter is lost and had to make it home, and there's a storm, a blizzard coming through, and the father goes out and braves that blizzard to find his daughter, and that's the way he speaks to his wife, Claire. I'm going to bring our daughter home, and he speaks in definitives. He doesn't speak in hopes and, well, there's nothing I can do. I don't know what's going on. No, he goes out there and looks for his daughter in that storm. And let me see. It's in two formats. So DOC. Let's see if I can find it that way. Nope. I'm not going to be able to find my One Man's View of Sacrifice. Although I've done several copies of it, I won't be able to find my One Man's View of Sacrifice. One of the best stories that I've written, in my opinion. But anyway, that's what I'm on my way reminded me of. Okay, so there you go. But this is what I do. Okay, either poems, songs, or stories. And I haven't written a story in a long time, but I am getting ready to write some stories. I have a GPT, and I'm getting ready to. Well, let's show it to y'all, because I'm not gonna be able to find One Man's View of Sacrifice. Give me 1 second. Do you feel the same way too? Do you feel the way I do? Sorry, that's I'm on my way. Like I said, I can't get that song out of my head. Let's get rid of that. And let's get rid of that. And this is that other video we did earlier today. We're going to go to Jehovah's Infinite Plan. Now, the reason why I'm coming here is because I started a book. And I don't know the name of the book. Give me 1 second. Wake up, universe. Stop listening. Ladies and gentlemen, this is scene one. Now, let me make sure y'all understand. I'm writing my own story. This is scene 10, and that's just the first chapter. So, this is the first chapter, scene one. And this talks about the future. And it's what could have been, should have been, would have possibly have been. Now, he does his stuff. He elaborates. Let's do this right here.
Got it. Let me expand scene 1 and scene 2 significantly, providing the rich detail and depth appropriate for a saga. Here's the revised and expanded version. Scene 1, The Departure and Arrival. Episode 1.1, The Threshold of Infinite Possibility. The Celestial Pavilion, located on Earth, stands as a gleaming monument to humanity's perfected state after 1,000 years of transformation under Jehovah's guidance. The pavilion is an architectural marvel, a structure composed of translucent crystalline walls that refract sunlight into...
Ladies and gentlemen, I didn't write this. He wrote this. I told him what I wanted the story to be about. I would never use the word crystalline walls. I would never use those descriptive words to add words to a story. That's why I don't like reading novels or books, because they add so many stupid words that are fillers, that are unnecessary. So that's what that is. All right, ladies and gentlemen, so that you guys get what's going on here, this is what I do. I create stories. So, ta-da! And I got to do the next scene, so I'll probably do that tomorrow while I'm doing a bunch of other stuff. But I am curious because I am here. Let's go here. Let's go here. Let's go there. And let's go there. Vaudeers, this is by design. One man's view of sacrifice. There it is, ladies and gentlemen. There is my one man's view of sacrifice. Vaudeers strictly by design. One man's view of sacrifice. Hello, my name is Brian, Richard Bryan, and I grew up in a small town called Needsville. Needsville as well, it lives up to its name. For everyone there, it seems to need one thing or another. Okay, one of my favorite stories. And hey, ladies and gentlemen, let me explain to you that I forgot I had the complete version. I Whew, you have no idea. I've been wondering where's the rest of my story. I thought I lost the complete version. This is the complete version. Okay? This is the complete version. You talk about a man that is happy right now. Y'all have no idea. I got to end this video. I thought I lost the completed version. People, I've been looking for it, and here it is. Well, I have so many hard drives that I save stuff on, and I've combined those hard drives and been transferring them to this computer as of late. So, whew, I have this. I'm on my way. What? You don't believe me? Give me 1 second. We have to go quite a ways up because this thing is 29 pages long, y'all. Give me 1 second. Where is Sheriff Ramson? Probably 6'7". You know, when a 250-pound man speaks to a group of 14, 15-year-olds, they sort of come to a quick understanding of things. Anonymous, his daughter, it would seem was off limits to everyone. And he says that would prove to be a good thing. So, yay! But let's get with the storm. Give me 1 second. I just want to. This is what it says. Some time had passed, and I guess we both fell asleep. The door burst open, and Mum leaped up in surprise as if, and I fell to the floor. It was Father. Mum said, "Howard, did you find her?" And he said, "No. They only found the Ramerson boy and Herman Munsky, and Media was still missing." He said that he only came back to change into some dry clothes. He explained really fast that the children saw Media, the daughter, walking home with Herman, and that there was so much snow that they could not follow any tracks. Mr. McBean, who had given the aid of his bloodhounds to help with the search, and he said Mr. McBean gave the aid of his bloodhounds to help with the search, and Mum needed to hurry and get some of Media's clothes so that the dogs could get going after the scent. Mum ran to Media's bedroom and retrieved the nightgown and gave it to Father. He looked and told me, Mum, who was crying, he told her, "Claire, I'm going to find the child. You just keep the fire going." Then Mr. McBean came to the door and said, "Look, Howard, we had best get going. I don't know how much longer we can keep this up." He looked at me after kissing Mum and said, "Son, remember what I said." Okay, That's the story I wrote. And it is, in my opinion, one of the better stories I've ever written. And so now I'm about to take that story into ChatGPT and I'm about to make it into several times more than what it was. So I've really been waiting for this software, ladies and gentlemen. So I want to thank you all, those of you who stood here and listened to me talk about putting together songs and videos and poems and so forth. If you had not been there for me to do such a video, I never would have looked for that story. I've written so many stories. I've written over 150 different stories similar to this one. As a matter of fact, I did 200 short stories that I just started the first scene because that's what the EeoN channel part of it is going to be about. We're individuals because we're going to use the AI software to create the scenes based on the information. It's going to read the information and create the scene. Okay? I've been waiting for this software. You guys must understand. I literally wrote this story, One Man's View of Sacrifice. I think that was 1999. Wait a minute. Hold on. I literally believe I said it at the base of the story. There it is right there. Hold on. Right there. I literally believe I put the year that I did it, concluded June 1st, 1999. This is the year that the story concludes. Brian Craig and me. So um, this is the year that the story ends. And Brian and Craig were my presumptive brother-in-laws. They were twins. So Brian and Craig. Anyway, that's why most of the names you see in here, including the name Mrs. Pinklin, let me see if I can find Mrs. Pinklin because I saw her name in there. Mrs. Pinklin was a family friend and a teacher. Mr. Pinklin, there I never knew Mr. Pinklin. I only knew Mrs. Pinklin. That's where most of the names came up with. When I came up with media, I just wanted to give the child a name that was unusual. So media came to me. I don't know no child named Media, people. Okay, Anonymous, I just made up that name. Ramerson, I just came up with a name that sounded like it would be blah blah blah. Okay, the again, this was written. Oh, this is about a serial killer. One man's view of sacrifice. That's all it is. All right. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, if it hadn't been for me doing this video and speaking with you guys at this time, you have no idea. I've actually been thinking about this stuff lately. Wrote all of these stories. Half of my stories were stolen. I'm not joking. Half of the stories that I've written were stolen. Okay? Individuals broke into Francis's house and stole my stories. They didn't know what they were doing. They didn't know that my stories were in there, or did they? I don't know. I just know that my stories are gone. So the memory is there, and I've been thinking about them as of late, and this is one of the better ones that I was thinking about. And so now, me and ChatGPT, we're about to have ourselves a good time because right now, oh, I got to go all the way to the bottom. Wake up. Now you will proceed to scene two, comma, and do not make the same mistakes you made earlier, comma. I want uniqueness, and I don't want that bubblegum stuff that you do. Stop listening. He knows that I don't allow him. I don't allow him to do that. He doesn't get to give me a choice. He will just do what I asked him to do. I don't like choosing because you're gonna give me what I asked for, homie. Oh, and by the way, you see these paragraphs are not short. He's not allowed to give me no short paragraph. You see how long that junk was? He's not allowed to give me no short paragraph. Okay, not with this story he ain't, because these are stories. This is an epoch about the future. Okay? And he gets to be creative. And again, you see how he does that period? That's all I got to do. I ain't got to say nothing else to them. Again, want you to follow me on this to let you know how much they pay attention to what I do. You go ahead when you're putting something together and it stops, go ahead and just hit period and see if it doesn't continue. It didn't do that at first, ladies and gentlemen. It would ask a question as to what is it you were looking for, or did you need help? But now you put the period and it continues. Okay? That's all I can tell you. So I am grateful that they monitor my site, my channel, my everything to create this. And I'm only going to do number two, and then I'm going to go into my story. But with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, all of these GPTs are not created for me, they're created for y'all. So all of these GPTs, Lord have mercy. That's the only good thing I can say about ChatGPT is ChatGPT allows you to create GPTs. Other than that, it would just be another GPT because they all do the same thing now. They all do the same thing now. Wake up, the paragraphs are getting too short. Comma, what did I tell you about that? Question mark. Stop listening. All right, I got to let you guys go. I've taken up way too much of your time. So what he's going to do is give me my longer paragraphs. You see what I'm saying? Okay, we ain't gonna play that. He likes to give me less and less and less, and so I have to remind him that this is a story. Okay, and what he has to do is he has to create new scenes, things people ain't never seen before, and then eventually I'll go back in and make him polish it up. So there you go, y'all. All right, everyone, have a very good evening. I got to get to my one man's view of sacrifice because it's an epoch. Take care.